In the heart of ancient Babylon, amidst the towering ziggurats and bustling marketplaces, there lived a man named Daniel. A youth of noble descent, he was taken captive during the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem. Yet, rather than succumb to despair, Daniel thrived, his wisdom and insight earning him a place in the court of King Nebuchadnezzar. It was here in the shadows of opulence and power that Daniel received visions and prophecies that would echo through the ages, speaking of the end times and the fate of nations. The prophecies of Daniel are often shrouded in mystery, laden with symbolism that has perplexed scholars and theologians for centuries. Among them, one of the most notable is the vision of the four beasts, each representing a kingdom that would rise and fall. The lion with eagle's wings, representing Babylon. The bear, symbolizing the Medes and Persians. The leopard, signifying the swift conquests of Greece. And the terrifying fourth beast, a creature of iron and 10 horns, representing the Roman Empire in its brutal dominion over the known world. Each beast was a harbinger of change, a reminder that empires, no matter how mighty, are but fleeting shadows in the grand tapestry of time. As the years turned to decades, Daniel continued to interpret dreams and visions, becoming a trusted advisor to kings. Yet it was his own visions that troubled him most. One such vision revealed a timeline that would extend beyond his own lifetime, a sequence of events leading to a climax of cosmic significance. In this vision, Daniel saw a figure known as the Son of Man, coming on the clouds of heaven, a divine messenger heralding the end of days. This figure would establish a kingdom that would never perish, a promise of hope for the faithful amidst a world rife with turmoil. The prophecies did not merely speak of distant events, they resonated with the struggles of Daniel's own people. The 70 weeks prophecy, a cryptic timeline that many have sought to decode, foretold the coming of an anointed one, a Messiah who would be cut off but not for himself. This prophecy would become a cornerstone for future generations, a beacon of hope for the oppressed and a source of contention among those who sought to claim its meaning for themselves. As Daniel's visions unfolded, they painted a picture of a world in turmoil, where conflict and strife would precede a time of divine intervention. As centuries passed, the echoes of Daniel's prophecies reverberated through the ages, inspiring countless interpretations and fervent beliefs. The early Christians, in particular, found solace in Daniel's words, seeing in them a foreshadowing of Christ's suffering and eventual triumph. They believed that the end times, as foretold, were imminent, and they lived with an urgency that shaped their communities and their faith. The Roman Empire, the very embodiment of the fourth beast, would soon face its own reckoning, and the followers of Christ would stand firm in the face of persecution, emboldened by the hope of redemption. Yet as time marched on, the fervor of those early days waned, and the prophecies of Daniel were often relegated to the realm of myth and legend. Scholars debated their meanings while rulers rose and fell, each claiming to be the fulfillment of some ancient promise. The world became a tapestry of interpretations, each thread woven with the hopes and fears of its people. In the midst of this, the essence of Daniel's message remained, a reminder that history is not merely a series of events, but a divine narrative unfolding according to a greater plan. In more recent times, as the world faced unprecedented challenges, the prophecies of Daniel have once again come to the forefront of public consciousness. The rise of global tensions, the threat of conflict, and the moral decay observed in societies have sparked renewed interest in the ancient texts. Many believe that we stand on the precipice of the fulfillment of Daniel's visions, as the signs of the times align with the warnings he delivered centuries ago. The 10 horns of the fourth beast, often interpreted as a representation of 10 kingdoms or leaders, have drawn parallels to modern-day coalitions and alliances. The notion of a singular figure, a man of sin or an antichrist, has been a source of both fear and fascination. As various leaders emerge, each claiming authority and vision for the future, the question looms, could one of them be the fulfillment of Daniel's prophecy? Yet amidst the speculation, there is a deeper truth embedded in Daniel's narrative. It is a call to vigilance, a reminder that the end times are not merely about the rise and fall of empires, but about the moral and spiritual state of humanity. The prophecies urge individuals to seek wisdom, to discern the signs of the times, and to remain steadfast in their faith. They challenge us to consider our own lives in the context of a larger story, one that transcends the boundaries of time and space. As the world continues to change, and as the shadows of uncertainty loom larger, the prophecies of Daniel serve as both a warning and an invitation. They beckon us to look beyond the cave, to find meaning in the struggle, and to hold fast to the hope that transcends our circumstances. In the end, the fulfillment of Daniel's visions may not be a singular event, but a continuous unfolding of divine purpose. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there exists a light that cannot be extinguished. The legacy of Daniel is not merely in the prophecies he delivered, but in the faith he exemplified. His story encourages us to remain vigilant, to seek understanding, and to embrace the promise of a future that, while uncertain, is ultimately guided by a hand far greater than our own. In the end, the prophecies of Daniel are not just a glimpse into what is to come, but a call to live with purpose, to act with integrity, and to hold on to hope in a world that often seems devoid of it. In the quiet corners of the world, where the whispers of ancient texts meet the fervor of modernity, there exists a tapestry woven with threads of prophecy, history, and the unyielding march of time. Among these prophetic voices, none resonate quite like that of Daniel, a figure whose visions have transcended centuries, beckoning the curious and the devout alike to peer into the future. The prophecies of Daniel, nestled within the pages of the Old Testament, speak of kingdoms rising and falling, of trials and tribulations, and ultimately of a divine conclusion that seems ever closer with each passing day. The time of the end in Daniel 12, the final prophetic revelation. Daniel chapter 12 is one of the most mysterious and powerful chapters in the entire Bible. It concludes the prophet's apocalyptic visions, presenting the climax of end-time events, revealing the ultimate fate of humanity, God's people, and the divine judgment that precedes the establishment of God's eternal kingdom. Let's dive into the central points of this prophecy. 1. A time of unprecedented distress, Daniel 12:1. At that time, Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress, such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. This verse opens with a powerful figure, Michael, the heavenly prince. He is portrayed as a protector of God's people. Many Christian scholars interpret Michael as a representation of Christ in his heavenly warrior role. The mention of a time of distress such as never was points to a period of global tribulation, more intense than anything in human history. This affliction is often associated with spiritual conflict, persecution, and an extreme polarization between good and evil. 2. The promise of deliverance. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered. Despite the severity of the events, there is a powerful promise: deliverance. Those whose names are written in the book of life will be saved. This book is referenced throughout Scripture as the heavenly record of the faithful. It's a strong reminder of God's care and protection for those who remain loyal to Him. 3. The resurrection of the dead, Daniel 12:2. Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. Here we find one of the clearest Old Testament references to bodily resurrection. The division between those who rise to life and those to condemnation highlights a final judgment. This verse establishes the idea of two eternal outcomes, one with God, the other apart from Him. 4. The glorification of the righteous, Daniel 12:3. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. This prophecy highlights the reward of the faithful, especially those who teach the truth and guide others in righteousness. They are compared to shining stars, symbolizing eternal glory. It's an encouragement to remain faithful and to be a witness, even in dark times. 5. The sealing of the prophecy, Daniel 12:4. But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. Daniel is instructed to seal the prophecy, implying that full understanding would be reserved for the time of the end. This suggests that, while the visions were given in the past, their true application and clarity would emerge in the latter days, when knowledge and spiritual hunger would greatly increase. This is often linked to advances in technology, communication, and theological understanding. 6. The mysterious time frames, 1090 in 1,135 days. Daniel 12:11-12. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be 290 days. Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,335 days. These prophetic timeframes have long been a topic of debate. Some interpret them literally, others symbolically, connecting them to historical events, such as the oppression under Antiochus Epiphanes or medieval periods of apostasy and reformation. The core message, however, is clear. Blessing comes to those who endure faithfully. These numbers may represent a testing period, followed by divine reward. 7. The vision of the man in linen, Daniel 12:5-7. In this passage, Daniel sees two angelic beings and a man clothed in linen standing above the waters, who swears by the eternal God that these things would be completed in a time, times, and half a time, symbolically 3.5 years. This time frame is echoed in the book of Revelation and is often associated with the duration of the Antichrist's power before God's intervention. 8. God's final word to Daniel, Daniel 12-13. Blah, blah, blah. For you, go your way till the end. You will rest, and then at the end of the days you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance. The final message is one of peace. Daniel would die, but rise again to receive his eternal reward. It's a message of comfort and hope for all who remain faithful, even if they do not see the fulfillment of the promises in their lifetime. Conclusion. What do we learn? Daniel chapter 12 is a call to hope in the midst of crisis. Though the end times bring distress and chaos, the outcome is glorious for those who trust in God. Faithfulness will be rewarded, justice will prevail, and God's eternal kingdom will be established.